All right, and welcome into the Betting Pros College Football Show. It's our Week 11 preview episode where we've got our official picks and predictions barreling towards you for the top 10 games on the slate. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, gearing up for what should be another sensational Saturday of college ball across the country. And joining me is a dude who's seen just about everything in his many years of following this sport. He's Scott Big Time Bogman. Boggs, how are you coming off the initial projected college football playoff bracket being released by the committee, and any thoughts on how they did?
I've seen the BCS, Seth. I've seen 9 interceptions in a cactus bowl that is now the Cheez-It Bowl. I've been to the high highs and low lows of college football. I thought the committee did a great job, man. I thought they really did. I thought unpacking these rankings was great. And that's even with my team being the first team out. I think if Texas handles business against Georgia, handles business against Texas A&M, that they're going to be in no matter what. BYU and Texas Tech are playing this week. One of those teams is going to drop out. No ACC team, so just one bid for the ACC and the G6. So I think they did a great job the way they have it right now. So as long as they keep this up, I am in favor of what is going on.
Yeah, I wish I could be one of those people who had a hot take, who had an opinion that was strongly different from what the committee did. They did tell us at the beginning of the season, look, strength of schedule is going to matter, and I think they did reward the proper teams for that. So I got no issue with it. I'm excited to see how things continue to shake out as we go down the stretch of the season. And as always, shout out to everyone who is tuning in either on the Betting Pros YouTube channel or the audio feed. We see you. We appreciate you. The easiest free way to support us, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of college football and NFL betting coverage this season. And before we get to the game previews followed by our best bets, let's take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. This is the golden time of year where it's not just pro football. Oh, no. It's NBA, college football, college hoops, and hockey all sharing the stage. There's always something to bet on. And if you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet yet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet today, and if it hits, you not only get your winnings, but also $150 in extra bonus bets. And if you're looking for an edge before you lock in, well, then go ahead and check out the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. It's loaded with trends, streaks, and stats to help guide your picks. Numbers don't lie, and neither does the data in there. Check out the Stats Hub now and get an edge to bet with confidence. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app is the only legal sportsbook in the state of Florida, and it's also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado, with more states coming soon. Plus, Hard Rock Bet offers new promos every single day. So whenever you're listening, just fire up the app and check out what they've got going on any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. Let's pop the top off in the birthplace of rock and roll, where we've seen some big line movement with the number 22 Memphis Tigers now laying anywhere between 3.5 to 4.5 points on the 6-2 Tulane Green Wave after opening up as 7.5 point favorites. We have Tulane starting linebacker Dixon Agu and a few members of that defensive two deep questionable. We also have Memphis, who is equally as banged up in their defense as two deep, plus their starting tight end Christian Ross is questionable. And right before we went live here, Boggs, we also got notified that the Tigers starting quarterback Brendan Lewis is questionable, maybe leading to some of that line movement. Our BP projections right now, they have this line still at 10 points. So any interest for you in maybe a Memphis minus 3.5, maybe altered down to minus 2.5?
You know what? I don't care. I love this line. I was all over Memphis. Memphis might still be my favorite bet. We'll see when we get there. But yeah, you are not kidding. I'm talking like 3 or 4 minutes before we start recording this. We got word that Brendan Lewis is iffy for Friday, but he was iffy a couple weeks ago. I didn't think he was going to play. He didn't meet with the media. Yep. He didn't practice that much, and he played. He's a gamer. So read between the lines is what I would say on that. I think he's going to at least give it a shot. I know he had to leave a little bit early against Rice, but they had that game in hand. So he's going to give it a shot. And even if he doesn't, the reason that I like Memphis in this game is because of the pathetic effort that we saw from this Tulane defense last week. Now, Retzlaff is fine. I think Retzlaff is going to be okay, but UTSA quarterback Owen McCowan, his season high passing before this game against Tulane was 238 yards, and he was 31 of 33 for 370 and 4 scores. I mentioned that same stat on Monday. It still blows my mind. So I just think that this defense for Tulane is not quite there. I know a lot of people think it's a look ahead spot. I don't, AJ Hill is like the highest recruited player to Memphis ever. So if he has to step in and play for Brendan Lewis, I think he's going to be fine against his defense. It looked just absolutely pathetic last week. I mean, you look at stats, Memphis is way better than Tulane. You look at grades, Memphis is way better than Tulane. There's not many spots where Tulane has the advantage over Memphis. Strength of schedule is it. Like Memphis really hasn't proven it against top tier, competition all that often, but they beat South Florida. So I think they're going to be fine here against Tulane.
Yeah, I love what John Sumrall's done with Tulane. I think they're a very hard-fighting, well-coached team. But I think there is a talent discrepancy here, specifically at the quarterback position. Like, I like Jake Retzoff. He's scrappy, but when he gets down in games, like we saw it, Boggs, he looked like Geno Smith out there just chucking him. So I will have no action in this game. And you know me, I love the American right now. It's been really fun football to watch. I'm going to remain on the sideline, but if this gets down -2.5, I might consider it. I definitely might consider it. Let's move forward, though, where most books have come to a consensus in Los Angeles, listing the 20th ranked USC Trojans as 14.5-point favorites, but there are some giving them 15.5 points against the 5-3 Northwestern Wildcats on Friday night. Northwestern has cornerback Ore Adai questionable. They also have their linebacker Yarni Karloftis. He remains on the shelf. USC has questionable tackle Elijah Page, center Killian O'Connor, RB1 Wayman Jordan, and some defensive 2-deep members as well. BP projections right now, we have this line at about 17 points. So, Boggs, any thoughts for you? Is there maybe some value on the Trojans in this home spot?
I don't like the side here. I'm going to go with the total. We're going to go under. My lean is going to continue to be the under. I said that on Monday, and I just think only Oregon and Tulane have beat Northwestern by double digits. I think this is probably a late cover by USC, but I definitely wouldn't bet on that. I think the better lean is going to be towards the under. Northwestern's defense is 13th in points per game allowed. I think USC's defense is going to be able to tee off once they get up. Preston Stone has not been good throwing the ball. They have okay pass catchers. They've gotten better since that embarrassing performance week 1 against Tulane. But I just don't know that they have the horses to catch up. I think this is like a 28-21 USC win, 35-14 USC win, and that keeps us under the 50.5. So a 31-10 also could be in store here. So I do like USC. I think they cover late. I don't know if I would have bet on it, though, because Northwestern has been pretty good. They went up to Penn State and beat your boys. Even that was, I know it's depressing. I'm not trying to bring it up to mock you or anything, but I mean, this is the same type of a game. It's on the road against a traditionally much better school that is way better on one side of the ball. USC's way better on offense. Penn State was way better than them on defense, and they still ended up winning that game. This is a scrappy team. Northwestern, they've been playing great football all year, so I don't want to pick against them in the spread. There's too many points, but I will take the under because I don't think they're going to score, and I think they do hold USC a little bit better than we're anticipating. That's all. Yeah,
I think I'm there with you. I do like USC in this spot, but it's just a little too many points for me because Northwestern's a bit of a wild card team. Honestly, they feel like they could get up at any moment, as they did in Happy Valley just about a month or so ago. Before we keep it moving, a real quick reminder to please track your bets, stay accountable, and level up by downloading the free BettingPros app today. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in just one simple spot. You can easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and of course, parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. New users, you can score yourself 6 months of BettingPros Premium for free with your first deposit and wager at any of our partner sportsbooks. Learn more at bettingpros.com/premium. The spread has shrunk some in State College, with the second-ranked Indiana Hoosiers listed as 14.5 to 15.5 point favorites over the 3-5 Penn State Nittany Lions. IU currently is questionable wide receiver Elijah Surratt, guard Drew Evans, edge Kellen Wyatt, and linebacker Aiden Fisher. Penn State's backup quarterback Jackson Smolik. We used him in that Bo Pribula type role against Iowa a few weeks ago. He's questionable after missing last week. BP projections right now, we have this line closer to 11.5. But I don't care, man. Like, I think it's time to get on board. It has been a money-making machine to fade the Nittany Lions. I'm doing it here. I'm laying the 13.5 points.
I don't hate that. But I don't really like how this is opening up, specifically because we're showing value towards Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
But Penn State's defense is not as beat up as the offense. We saw Indiana struggle on the road a bit against Iowa. But to me, the safest bet in this game is Penn State team total under 16.5. Oregon is the only team to score more than 15 points against the Hoosiers so far this season. That was at home, right?
Good point.
ODU has actually put up the most offensive points against the Hoosiers with 2 big plays by Curtis Joseph in that week 1 game.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon had a pick 6. So they only scored 13 on offense. And 2 of Iowa's 13 points came on that safety at the end of the game. R.I.P. Seth. I didn't want to bring that up again. But, it fits this narrative here.
Yeah.
So no one is scoring this many offensive points against the Hoosiers. And I think Penn State's not going to either, specifically with Grunkenmeyer in there. So, Penn State team total under 16.5. I'm probably going to pivot to that being my favorite bet of the week since Brendan Lewis is iffy for Friday. So, that's going to be one of my favorite bets. Just nobody has put this total up on them, and they played much better offenses than what Penn State is at right now.
Yeah, that's sharp, man. Like, I can't tell if Nick Singleton is hurt, if he is just not interested.
Katron Allen is better.
Yeah, but
it might be a little give up too, but Katron Allen is not giving up.
Yeah, so. Yeah, and like I feel like it's him on offense right now. We're starting to get Ross going a little bit, but like Pena's kind of been a non-factor, and you know how much I liked him coming down from the Orange in the offseason. Yeah, so I think I'm with you. Grunk did some good things last week and even in Iowa as well, but I think it's a different unit with Kamara and the boys on the other side of the ball coming at him. So let's keep it moving with the 5th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, who remain 7 to 9.5 points favorites, heading to Starkville to face the 5-4 Mississippi State Bulldogs. Georgia, they will, of course, be without ex-wide receiver Colby Young the rest of the way. Their safety, Kyren Jones, he remains questionable. Mississippi State, meanwhile, they have 3 starting offensive linemen coming into this week as questionable. The BP projections right now, we have this game right around 8 points as well. So it's a clear pass for me, Boggs. We got burned last week when we tried to get invested in the Bulldogs. First time I did all season. Are you back on UGA this week?
No, I'm not going to be back on Gunnar Stockton and UGA. I was really upset by that kneeling at the 1. That was so annoying.
Give me a break.
But the more I think about this game, the more I think we just get a substantial effort from Mississippi State. Like I mentioned on Monday, this team is going to have to beat one of Georgia, Missouri, or Ole Miss to become bowl eligible. And this game is at home. But what I really like is Texas A&M is the only team to really dominate Mississippi State this season. And that game was 7-3 at halftime against A&M. Mississippi State was tied at 17 with Tennessee at the half. They were up by 10 against the Longhorns at halftime as well. The only SEC opponent that they have played that has had more than a 4.5 point spread here that has had them by more than 4.5 was Florida, 13-7. And they pulled that game to 2 points at the end, and Napier was fired after they won. So my best bet in this game is going to be Mississippi State plus 4.5 in the first half. I think we've seen it from Georgia as well. Not as much as people say that they like to play with their food and start slow and all of that stuff. It hasn't been quite as bad as people make it out to be, but Mississippi State has shown wrinkles and they get adjusted on in the second half, not the first half. They play very hard there. So I'm going to take Mississippi State plus 4.5 at home against the UGA Bulldogs here. I think that we can handle this one. So plus 4.5 from Mississippi State.
Very
First
sharp.
half.
Very sharp. I love Fluff being back in the backfield there. The receivers, Thompson, Evans, they've been sensational as well. So I really like that first half play. That is a sharp one because UGA, man, if you've been betting them like we were last week, like the first half did not look good. It did not look good, and they've been winning in the second half. So I think that's a very, very sharp play. Let's keep going, though, where the spread has actually widened even further in Lubbock with the number 9 Texas Tech Red Raiders. They are now sitting as 10 to 11.5 point favorites against the number 8 BYU Cougars. BYU's RB2, Sion Moa, and some of the 2 deep cornerbacks are coming into this one questionable. Texas Tech's tackle, Hunter Zambrano, and some depth wide receivers are questionable for them. BP projections right now, we're setting this near 8 points, so they think it's too many. I think it's too many, but I will not fade Baron Morton in this spot. I will not fade him maybe ever this season. What about you, Scotty?
Yeah, look, I think still in this game, it's BYU away from home. They run at a 60% clip, and they ask to face the number 1 run defense statistically and by grade in Texas Tech. If BYU wins this game, I think we have to seriously consider that stats do not matter for this team. There's some weird juju going on. There's some magic. Somebody put a curse on something here. We got to find a way to undo the curse at that point. But I heard Andy Staples say that the last time that BYU lost by more than 7 was November of 2023. They've been scrappy. They've been fun, and they keep themselves in games the last 2 years in a row. But when I see this matchup on paper, it just looks like a Red Raiders stomping to me. Now, look, we've seen Texas Tech lose. They lost to Arizona State, right? But they didn't have Baron Morton then. And Baron Morton looked so good against Kansas State, a defense that had looked great in that matchup against Kansas just the week before. So I'm still leaning on the Red Raiders, but I don't like that this line is going the wrong way. I think more people are going to bet BYU before the week is up. I think this is going to come back down under double digits. So I'm just going to wait till Saturday. If we can see it get back to 8.5, 7.5, something like that, great. If it doesn't move down and it keeps moving up and you're getting more points, I'm just going to leave it alone. Because on paper, Texas Tech should beat the crap out of BYU. No one is beating BYU at all this year, so I just don't think I can put my money on it. So I'm going to lean towards the Red Raiders here, but I just don't like it unless this line ticks back down and it's going the wrong way right now.
Is there a bigger matchup in this game to you than the BYU offensive line versus that pass rush for Texas Tech? Because, I mean, those guys are nasty.
That's
we talk
the game.
about it every week. Yeah,
that's the game. Like, Texas Tech is going to score, right? We know that. Texas Tech is going to score on BYU's defense. They have a good defense. I'm not trying to knock them, but Texas Tech is going to score on anybody. So BYU needs to hold the ball, they need to run the ball, and they need to control the clock. That is what you do.
That's their game with LJ, too.
You make them panic. You make Texas Tech panic, but Texas Tech has been stopping everybody's run game. So if they can't run, now you're going to have Bear Bachmeier throw a bunch, and David Bailey's going to eat his lunch. So I think if you get to that spot, if Texas Tech gets up 10 points early, might be all she wrote. I don't know if BYU is going to be able to keep up.
Well, and that's kind of how it went last week against Kansas State, right? Like, as soon as Texas Tech started shutting down the run, Avery Johnson got a little buck wild back there and started making some turnovers and some bad decisions. And Texas Tech is a team who makes you pay. So love that there from you. Let's keep going forward here, where 5.5 point tickets in favor of the number 6 Oregon Ducks starting to go by the wayside for when they travel to Iowa City to face the 6-2 Hawkeyes. Heard from our friend Andy Behrens. He might be at this game. Also, Scott Fish might be making a trip. So a lot of people excited to see this one. Iowa fans are riled up as always on the internet. Not a fan, but you know how I roll out here. Oregon's backfield, they are continuing to be thin, but their 2 top backs, including Noah Whittington, will be up. Iowa's top tight end over there at the Tight End University, DJ Vanaheim, he is out of this one. BP projections right now has it at 6.5. So Boggs, do you have any interest while we can still get the Ducks at a full point below that key number of 6.5?
It's not for the Ducks. I'll say this. The narrative being talked about in this game is the fact that Oregon hasn't been challenged this season. Their only win against a team with a winning record was against Northwestern. That's it. Obviously, they lost Indiana at home, and this is the next biggest test since that game. To me, this is a playoff elimination game for Iowa, but a win would put them right smack in the middle of the playoff conversation as well. I think I'm going to lean towards the Hawkeyes getting this many points at home. Iowa held Indiana to 103 yards rushing at home. They really disrupted the flow of their offense. And I don't know that Iowa can make enough plays against the Oregon defense to win this game, but I think I like them dragging Oregon down into the mud and making them play their game. It's the same thing they did to Indiana. Yeah. And we haven't seen Indiana really, pull up for anybody else this year except for Iowa at home. So just the fact that Oregon hasn't truly been tested, this is a really good defense that has been slowing down even the best offenses this year. I still don't understand how they lost to Iowa State, who's not good, but their offense can go dry. So it's not my safest bet of the week because Iowa's offense is just still pretty pathetic, but I think that defense keeps them in it. So I'm going to lean towards the Hawkeyes in this game.
Okay. And if you want a chance to score this signed Kyren Williams Los Angeles Rams helmet for free, courtesy of our friends over at pristineauction.com, all you need to do is head to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either A, download the free Betting Pros app today, leave a review for the Betting Pros podcast, or C, subscribe to our social media channels. We're at Betting Pros on X and TikTok, and at Betting Pros NFL on the Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you're going to receive. And we will, of course, announce a winner right here on the program. So make sure you ring the bell so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize if you are that one lucky winner. Our friends over at Hard Rock Bet are once again ahead of the curve. They're listing the number 3 Texas A&M Aggies at the key number of 6.5 points over the number 19 Missouri Tigers. A&M will be without starting running back Le'Veon Moss for some time still. And their RB2, Reuben Owens, is probable. Looks like he will be up for this one, hopefully. Mizzou, of course, they are without quarterbacks Bo Pribula and Sam Horn for the rest of the season, leaving freshman Matt Zollers under center. BP projections right now, we have this under a field goal, but I'm still going to lay this number here. I actually got a 5.5 ticket earlier today, Boggs, so maybe a little squad ride action on A&M.
I'm never gonna ride on A&M. So don't bark up that tree, Seth. This line
even with your boy,
this line has jumped out too much for me to want to take Texas A&M. I think I'm gonna take the Tigers at home. The ultimate question is, will Zollers be able to move the ball, and will Mizzou be able to keep Howell off of him? That is the biggest question in this game, and I think Texas A&M moves the ball. I think they're going to move it even on a strong Tigers defense. So I just think, I think Texas A&M's offense is on a heater right now. I don't think they can be stopped, but I really like Mizzou's run game, and the games that have been close for A&M, they've been run on. Archie ran for 268 on them, and that was a 45-42
fair
Texas A&M win. Notre Dame went for 136 with only 60 yards of rushing for LSU, but Barry averaged 6.6 yards per carry and Durham averaged 7.2. They just got so far down, they weren't able to run in that game, and they hung Nussmeier out to dry. So I think Mizzou, with this strong running game, is going to be able to run. I think they control the clock a little bit and make it a little bit more of a closer, uglier game than we thought. Obviously, the entire offense is going to rest on the shoulders of Zollers. I think they'll do a better job. I think A&M is gettable if you can run on them. You have to run to pass against A&M. You can't pass to run, but I think that's the way you want to do it with a guy like Zollers anyway. So I think that offense keeps them in this game at home, but it is still a tall task to ask them to beat A&M. A&M is a very good team on a heater, specifically on offense right now. But roster strength, these teams are pretty close. So I think I like Missouri at home. Give me the points.
The best thing Mizzou has going for it right now, Boggs, is that this is at home, right? Like, what is this line if it's at Kyle Field? 2 touchdowns? It's 12.5?
I think it's probably 10.5. Okay. I think you get to double digits. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I understand where you're coming from. I really do like A&M. This is the first time I'm on them all season, so maybe I'll cool them off as well. But we'll see.
Let's go. Cool them off, Seth. Yeah, pick the Aggies with enthusiasm. I love it.
We'll see what happens there. Moving forward, though, we do have 6.5 and even 5.5 point tickets now available in favor of the number 15 Vanderbilt Commodores at home against the 4-5 Auburn Tigers on the Dead Cat Bounce, baby. Auburn interim head coach and defensive coordinator DJ Durkin, he has named Stanford transfer quarterback Ashton Daniels as the starter in this game, likely ending the Jackson Arnold era at Auburn. Vandy is once again at full strength. BP projections right now, we're setting this line at 7.5. So is there maybe some sneaky value on the commies as we approach the weekend, Boggs?
Maybe there could be. But for as bad as Auburn has been, they lost to Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia, Missouri, but they were all by 10 points or less. Mm-hmm. Auburn is the only other team other than Notre Dame to hold Arkansas below 31 points. So the defense is for real at Auburn. And I think they're going to keep Vandy on their toes, but the Auburn offense is still pathetic, right? That is my main takeaway from this game. The most recent news is that Ashton Daniels, as you mentioned, is going to get the start. He got the majority of the first team reps. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a surprise when they announced him a little bit earlier. And I think I got to take the Auburn team total below 19.5. They did put up 33 on Arkansas, but other than that, 17 against Missouri, 10 against Georgia, 10 against A&M, 17 against OU, and obviously the 3 against Kentucky that got Hugh Freeze fired. Yeah. So Auburn has the talent to succeed, but giving the ball to Daniels is probably even worse than Jackson Darnold. Auburn's team total is 19.5. Wow. We're going to take the under on that one against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's at home too. So look, I know dead cat bounce. Maybe Auburn wins this game, but if they win this game, it's probably going to be 17-13 or something like that. I don't think they're scoring many points even in a win. So under 19.5 team total for Auburn is how I'm going to handle this one.
I don't mean to keep fluffing you up here, man, but I really like this play as well, specifically because dude, the commies, they're out there with that option-based offense, right? They run as much as they can. Cedric Alexander, very good running back when they can get him going. It seems like he needs to get going early in the game or he doesn't get going for whatever reason. But I think if they can start off hot and start chewing some clock early, this is going to look really nice. And
look, there's no give up from Vandy, right? So even if Auburn comes out firing and they look great, Vandy is not going to stop. You saw them almost come back against Texas. They should have had that second onside kick, man. Yeah. Vandy is a never quit. Pavia is annoying and all of that. I know people don't like him. I get it. His brother's annoying. I don't like his brother. But yeah, look, this team is strong. Their defense is strong. They held a good Missouri team even without their quarterback. I think this Vandy team is pretty good. I think they'll be able to hold Ashton Daniels. God, they need a quarterback at Auburn. They have so much talent on this team. This is such a good roster.
They're leaving
quarterback
soon.
Spot
They're saying see ya.
Gross. Yeah.
I watched a couple Stanford games last season. Was able to sweat them out. I remember week 1 against TCU a year ago. I was like, man, this quarterback is atrocious. Loved Alec Iomanor. He was like the heart and soul of that team, and he had a really down year last year because Daniels couldn't get him the ball.
If you can throw the ball straight up to Cam Coleman, that should be a pretty good.
Right.
I would even just let him go 500. Triple coverage, 500. Give it to Cam Coleman. I don't care. Let us do something. It's just been pathetic, and they can't run the ball either. Auburn's offense is ugly right now.
Yeah. Shops are now at a consensus in South Bend listing the number 10 Notre Dame Fighting Irish as 26.5 point favorites over the 7-1 Navy Midshipmen. Navy right now has questionable linebacker Luke Priest, also tight end Cody Howard, and wide receiver 3 Luke Hutchinson. For Notre Dame right now, their tackle Styles Prescott is questionable, and this is already after losing their guard Billy Schruth and center Ashton Craig. Their wide receiver, Jaden Greathouse, he hasn't been up for most of the season. He is still questionable. BP projections right now, we have this at 23.5 points. And Bogman, we are expected to have some weather in this one as well. So can you back Blake Horvath as nearly a 4-touchdown dog?
I'm going to wait and see how big it gets. That's kind of where I'm going with this one. I don't think Navy has a chance in this game, right? They run the ball at a 73% clip. Notre Dame has a 12th ranked run defense in the country statistically, 20th graded according to PFF, and they've been shutting down better offenses than Navy in recent days. So I think with the nasty weather, 34 degrees, raining sideways, windy, gross, I think both teams gonna get the hell out of here, right? Let's let's run this ball, specifically if Notre Dame is up by 17 points or more going in the fourth quarter. Let's run this ball and let's go home. So for now, I think it's going to be a lean to Navy. Look, if they can run the ball, they're going to slow down the pace of this game. Their pace right now is 129th out of 136 teams. So they'll bleed the clock. They'll make it so that Notre Dame has to, play a little bit quicker.
Sure.
I just don't know if that's going to happen. I do think Notre Dame wins this game going away, but this is a lot of points to cover, specifically in a game like this. Navy's still playing for their life. This is another game where if Navy were to somehow make an upset, I don't know where or how it happens,
right? Yeah.
But by some miracle of God that they come away with this game, they're right in the middle of the playoff conversation. So I think we're going to get a good effort from Navy in this game. I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think Notre Dame wins big. This is too many points, though, and it keeps expanding. Let's see if it gets to 28 and a half.
Yeah.
2 more points. That's all we need. It's 26 and a half at a couple books right now. So let's see it branch out. And if we can get to 28 and a half, I'm going to hammer it.
Okay. I like to hear that, man. Navy's very fun team to watch. Defense is atrocious. I mean, really bad. And I was honestly expecting a little more out of their offense last week against North Texas. This defense, it is also not very good.
We doubted the tackling ability of North Texas. That team tackles like nobody's business. They are very, very good at it.
Well, glad to hear they did last week, because they certainly did not very well against Charlotte, at least in that first half of that game the week before when we were sweating that team total over.
That was a Thursday or Friday game, right? So
it was Friday, yeah.
Weird circumstances.
True.
One day less. One day less arrest.
Good point. There's surprisingly been no line movement actually in Tuscaloosa thus far, with the 4th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. They're remaining a 9.5 to 10-point favorite over the LSU Tigers. LSU right now, they have tackles Tyrese Adams out. Also, linebacker Whit Weeks, he is listed as doubtful. Their other tackle here, Carius Kerna, he is also probable. Edge Gabriel Reinford, he is questionable. Bama's wide receiver 4, Lotzier Brooks, is questionable. BP projections right now, we have this just a mark over 10.5 points. So any play or lean for this primetime showdown at Bogman?
I'm thinking that this is going to get below double digits. I know it hasn't moved much. It was 11 and a half. Now it's 10 and a half. But I think it only moved on Monday. So it just has not moved a lot, but LSU might play loose. They might play more free. Number 1 roster strength, right? Brian Kelly wasn't well liked. And I think sometimes you get the reverse of the dead cat bounce. Like if they do fire a coach that the guys like, you get less effort. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think everybody hated Brian Kelly's guts. I think a lot of people are glad that he's gone. And I think you're going to see LSU play a little better. But Bama can be run on, but LSU doesn't run the ball well. I just don't think this is the best X's and O's matchup for LSU. The LSU defense is covered well, but they haven't put pressure on quarterbacks very well. And without pressure, Simpson is going to carve them up. There might be a shakeup on that LSU O-line that has been getting wrecked. They're 88th in pass block grade, 119th in run block grade. Bama hasn't rushed the passer well this year, but they got Sellers in the biggest moment last week or 2 weeks ago. They dropped Prabula and Pavia both 4 times in those 2 other most previous matchups. So they're getting better at putting pressure on the quarterback. I still think Bama wins this game, but with our value, the BP value right on top of this number, I just want to see it drop a little bit. If we can get this to 8.5, 7.5, then I'm going to hammer Bama. But if it stays at double digits and the hook, I'm just not going to mess with it. So my lean is towards Bama, but I want to see this number come down. And money is on LSU right now. So there is a possibility that this number does tick down a little bit.
Well, I think it's sharp to wait here, man, because while it has not been the season LSU's wanted, while they might not match up super schematically, this game just means more, right? This is one of those that just mean more out here in the Southeastern Conference. So really looking forward to that and looking forward to this entire slate that we have here on deck. Let's though get out of here first on best bets. Bogman, your best bet for week 11 of the college football season is?
You know what? I'm going to go with that Auburn team total under 19.5.
I like that one. Yeah.
That's going to be, I don't know. I like that Mississippi State first half one too. You know what? I'm going to flip to that. Mississippi State first half plus 4.5. That's going to be my best bet.
Okay. You like all of them. You like all of them.
I do like
that
all
type
of them,
guy.
but that's gonna be my official take.
Okay. All right. Well, I like to hear that. For me, I'm going to take a game we have not previewed. Give me Temple versus Army over 46.5, -108 right now. I think it's a great spot for some points at noon on Saturday, Boggs. And the main mismatch for me in this game is that Army is 4th in the country in rushing, and they are going up against Temple's rush defense, 121st in the country. The Black Knights right now, they are now led by sophomore quarterback Cale Hellemans, and this is a guy who is now running this show full-time after splitting time earlier in the season. This dude loves to tote the rock, man. You think, whether it's Horvath or whether it's some of these other Service Academy quarterbacks, I don't think anyone likes to tote it more than Cale here, man. 41 carries against Kansas State earlier this season. That's an absurd number. And also, he has been averaging 26.5 rushing attempts per game over the past month alone. Temple's defense, pretty lackluster, honestly, overall. 92nd in scoring defense. Their games have averaged 58.9 points scored. Temple also, though, isn't that bad on offense themselves. 51st in scoring, also 88th in passing, 59th in rushing. So I think as long as Army gets big run plays, like we can't have them just getting stopped for 3-4 yards every time, burning the clock down. That will make this go under. But I think if they can get some big runs going, I think this goes over, just like it did when Temple took on Navy earlier this season, 32-31 in that game. Also, they had another run-heavy opponent in Georgia Tech, 45-24. So I'm liking points here. I'm going to back the Black Knights and the Owls here, Boggs, in an over spot in the American Conference.
I'm looking on Hard Rock, and by the way, you can get Mississippi State plus 5.5 first half. So we're going to go with that one, and then 46.5 for yours. You put those together, and that parlay is plus 265. We like that.
Don't mind if I do, man. Don't mind if I do. We'll, of course, be back for you early next week to recap all the action. Boggs, you'll be back later this week. Every single Friday, you're releasing your best bets and your player props, so stay tuned for that. That is going to do it, though, for us on this episode of the Betting Pros College Football Show. Let us know down in the comments below your favorite Week 11 picks. And while you're here, make sure you're smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you're new. For Scott Big Time Bogman, I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all. Go Army.